What's up, y'all? It's Ty. In this video today, we're going to be going over ranking all of the 97, 98 overall cards in college football 25 Ultimate Team on a tier list from F tier all the way up to S tier. Now, remember, if a card's at D tier or F tier, that doesn't mean they're necessarily bad. That doesn't mean they necessarily can't play. That just means that compared to the other great cards we have, they just might not be as good. So again, a lot of these 98s as well, I just personally am not the biggest fan of. But let's start with Brock Bowers, and as we do dive into this thing, if you're new to the channel, please smash that subscribe button. I really do appreciate all of the recent support on the channel. Brock Bowers here, 96 speed, 98 acceleration. I mean, if you like throwing the football, he is the best tight end in the game. And so I'm going to throw him at S tier. We've got a lot of cards to rank, so I'm not going to waste a ton of time on it. Junior Seau up next. I mean, at the linebacker position, is he like one of the best? Yes. But he's only got 93 speed. You know, the 95 acceleration's nice. Good tackler. But I don't think he's like that much better than some of the other middle linebackers in the game. Maybe A tier for Junior Seau is the right spot. AJ Hawk up next. Again, I'm going to go through these cards relatively quickly because we've got a lot to talk about. 94 speed, 93 acceleration. Gets after the quarterback decently well. Good change direction, zone coverage, but he's only 6'1". I'm honestly going B tier. He doesn't impress me that much. Derrick Henry up next. I just feel like Derrick Henry's just another running back. I just don't think he does anything at that elite of a level. Now, I know he's a million coins. Why? Because his name is Derrick Henry. Honestly. Like 96 speed for a 98 overall running back, I'm just not super stoked about. Yes, he catches the football. Yes, he's a good power back. Can break some tackles. I don't know. There's just something about Derrick Henry that I don't love. I do think he's B tier, but I think that's as high as I can go. Tank Dell up next. Again, these 98 overalls just don't play like 98 overalls. And that's the one thing I do want you guys to realize. Only a 96 speed. Route running is fine, but only 5'10". Honestly, throwing Tank Dell at C tier. You know, a 96 speed with a 98 overall just doesn't make sense for me going at C tier. Kanu up next, defensive tackle. We do have, we've gotten a lot of defensive tackles recently in the game. 86 speed, 88 acceleration, 96 block shed, and 99 strength is the best part about this card. Other than that, like, again, gets after the quarterback decent, but not great. I'm going to throw him at C tier. I just don't love the card. Shalon Baker up next. I do believe is how you pronounce his name. Another card that I just don't love. 95 speed for a running back at this stage of the game. A 96 acceleration. Trucking is fine. Doesn't really make people miss. This card kind of stinks. I'm honestly going to go D tier. I know he's a 98 overall, but the card is not good. Tiger Shanks up next is a good right tackle on this game. It's just tough for me to be super, stoked about a 98 overall right tackle that looks like this. Like, he's fine, but he's not like game-breaking good. So I'm going to go C tier, he's fine. Arch Manning, I don't think is great. I'm going to go D tier. And I know a lot of people aren't going to like this, but he's not even an S tier quarterback to me. 91 speed is fine, but he has a 60 throw accuracy. And again, we've got great quarterbacks in the game. So to me, there's just no reason for you guys to run Arch Manning whatsoever on this game. Jermod McCoy, one of your best corners on the game. I think he has the potential to be an A tier type of card. Do I wish he had 98 speed? Absolutely. 97 strength, 93 change of direction, but the 98 man coverage is ridiculous. If you play press man coverage, one of the best corners you can run is Jermod McCoy, who has to go in here at A tier. Amon-Ra St. Brown, how does he compare to Tank Dell is really the question of the day. 96 speed, same acceleration. He's fine, but he's C tier. Their card is not crazy good. Clay Matthews up next. Let's see what Clay gets into. 95 speed, good acceleration, gets after quarterback, great block shed, good in zone coverage, solid change of direction. He's a beast. Clay Matthews, I do believe, is S tier. And it really comes down to the fact that he's got 95 speed, gets after the quarterback incredibly well, 98 block shed. As long as you're not dropping him into coverage, he can occasionally, but as long as you're not doing that on a consistent basis, I do think he is an S tier outside linebacker. Medrano up next. Let's see what he gets into at the outside linebacker position. And it's awesome because we just got done talking about Clay Matthews. Same position. Clay Matthews just blows this card out of the water. I'm going C tier with Medrano. I don't love him. Moses up next. And it's just like, again, these cards should have been so much better. 97 speed is awesome, but again, it could have been 98. The acceleration is good. Change direction, not great. Only 5'10", not great in man coverage. C tier as well. I just don't see it with the card. Thornton Jr. up next. I actually think this is our first wide receiver that I'm going to hype up a decent amount. Now, let's talk about why. Well, for Thornton, you're looking at a, I think, right? Did I spell it wrong? You're looking at a card with 97 speed. You're looking at a scheme spotlight card in which you can change the scheme to fit yours. You're looking at a card that is 6'5". Honestly, for Thornton Jr., he has the ability to maybe be S tier. I mean, he is that type of good in the game. The problem is Tyler Boyd is just simply better. And so that's the tough part, right? Because I think Tyler Boyd is better because he comes with that gold takeoff. If you got a card that comes with gold takeoff, I'm going to hype him up more than some of the other cards. Rat running wise, Elite 6'2". Tyler Boyd is S tier for sure, in my opinion. AP up next. I mean, right in there with Derrick Henry. Like, I think a lot of these cards are just overhyped because they're named. I do think AP is probably better than Derrick Henry, but I'm going to go B tier. I just don't think he's perfect. Tony Gonzalez obviously is going to be your Legends Ultimate lock-in. Now, question of the day, is Tony Gonzalez better than Brock Bowers? Maybe slightly. I mean, but I think Brock Bowers is just as good. One thing about it though, like neither card is going to run block great. I do think he's S tier, but I will say I don't think Tony Gonzalez is going to be worth his price whatsoever. So just kind of realize that for the card. Lampkin up next. I mean, at the right guard position, he's fine. Like, he's a fine right guard. I'm not going to sit here and gas him too much. I'm not going to bring up his stats. Card is good. He's not that much better than the stars of the season card. Nick Nash up next. B tier probably for Nash. I do think he's probably better than St. Brown, right? Like, am I right on that? Maybe, yeah. 97 speed, route running is good, 6'3". I think he's better than some of those other wide receivers we've talked about, really, because the speed is higher. If you don't know, speed is so important at the wide receiver position, so I'm going to throw Nick Nash at that B tier. Walter Nolan up next. I think he's good at the defensive tackle position. I think he's better than Kanu, but I don't think, is there enough there that separates him to be like A tier? Maybe. I think there actually might be. I just wish he got after the quarterback slightly better. I'm going to leave him at B tier. Do think the card's good. Jeff Saturday, I think, is he your best center in the game? I think he is, right? Maybe not. Never mind. We've got a really good center in the stars of the season. But Saturday is good. I mean, good strength, good pass blocker, good run blocker, good balanced center, especially if you're in that spread chemistry. Throw him at that B tier. I actually do like Jeff Saturday at that center position. Keenan Allen up next, a beast. I mean, is he as good as Tyler Boyd? I think he's slightly worse, but I do like Keenan Allen on this game. I think he is one of your better wide receivers that you can pick up. 97 speed, route running elite, 6'2". I think Keenan Allen is a beast. I'm pretty sure he comes with that gold takeoff as well. I think Keenan Allen does. Zach Martin up next. Again, for these offensive tackles, I mean, it's just tough. He's fine. I don't think he's anything special, though. I'm going to throw him a D tier. I really don't think Zach Martin is great whatsoever. Next up, we got Selvey at that right end position. Again, we've got a lot of these guys to get through, so hopefully it doesn't take me all year. 92 speed acceleration, good power moves, good block shed. I actually like Selvey quite a bit. I'm going to throw him a B tier. I think he gives you quite a bit at that right end position, starting with the speed to getting after the quarterback, good block shed. Just like what Selvey does provide. And I think he's better than Van de Bosch. Again, the cards came out in like the same day, I'm pretty sure. And I just think Selvey is slightly better. But both cards are good. So if you want to argue Van de Bosch at the same tier, honestly, I think it's right. I think they are the same tier. I do like Selvey, just that slightly more though. CJ Allen up next, came out in the fraternities drop. Or is it KJ? CJ, yeah. Honestly, anytime a card comes out in the fraternities drop, I just know they're going to be trash. Like, I just know the card is not going to be good. So let's look at Allen here. And again, I just know the card is going to be a letdown. Middle linebacker, 6'1", 93 speed, 95 acceleration, change direction, 85, 6'1". He's actually not worthless, but he's not one of the better middle linebackers on the game. I'm going to throw him at D tier. And again, D tier is not me saying the card's worthless. It's just me saying I don't love him whatsoever. Denzel Boston, another fraternities drop. You kind of know what you're going to get. Again, fraternities means not great. 96 speed, 95 acceleration, route running's okay, 6'4". Like 6'4" is the only saving grace for the card. It's not great though. I'm going to throw him at D tier. I don't love the card. Let's see what OJ gets into. OJ Frederique Jr. Let's see again. Not super optimistic as I do dive into the card. 95 speed, 96 acceleration, 93 change direction, 6 feet tall. Yikes. I mean, yikes. That's all I can really say. Not great. Not great whatsoever. He is in that D tier. Luke Haas up next. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Let's see. Is he another fraternities player? Just don't know what EA did with these fraternities cards, man. I just don't. Like, these cards stink. 92 speed, I mean, you are not good either. D tier, he's just not good. Free safety, Tad Johnson. Can you be decent? Like, again, these fraternities cards are just not good. Did I, what's his name? Taz, I think. Maybe, right? Taz? Teo Johnson. Okay, I apologize. My fault. I haven't watched the Utes play too much. 95 speed. He does have 99 acceleration. I mean, 88 change of direction is just so troll. He is in that D tier. I'm sorry. TJ Parker is actually a decent fraternities card. Now, I don't think he's great. I don't think he's perfect, but I think the card is at least a decent enough card. 90 speed, decent enough block shed. I think C tier is where he belongs. I don't think he's perfect. Parker up next, halfback. How does he compare to Schlangenbacher? Well, let's see. Wayshawn Parker, 95 speed, 96 acceleration. Not great. He is in that D tier. Jordan Seaton up next. Another fraternities card. This one's a left tackle. How does he compare to Zach Martin, who we've already talked about today? Let's see. For Seaton, 95 strength. He's a pass blocker, decent run blocker. Wish his strength was higher, but he is D tier. Derwin James, he is not D tier. Derwin James is elite on this game. Don't think he's quite S tier, but I do think Derwin James is really, really solid. When you look at the card, comes with 97 speed. 92 change direction isn't great, but 97 zone, 6'2". I do think he is in that A tier. I really like what he provides. Adunze up next. I think he's solid. Right in there with Nick Nash at that B tier. I do think is the right tier. Thing about Adunze is this, right? 96 speed, good catching, good route running. 6'3". Is he better than Amon-Ra St. Brown? I think so, but I think he is B tier. I feel bad putting Tank Dell and Amon-Ra St. Brown at that C tier, but it's like, and maybe it's just my bias, the fact that they're 98 overalls with 96 speed. Maybe that's me, but I do think Adunze just gives you slightly more at B tier. Jordan Baugh up next. Let's see what he gets into. I just feel like these running backs, a lot of them just stink, honestly. Let's see. Okay, did I spell his name wrong? Let's see. I'm not good at names, man. Names are hard. 97 speed, 95 acceleration, good change of direction. Or never mind. I was looking at the trucking. 90 change of direction. Eek. Not great. Not great at all. Change direction to 90. He's going to leave him at that D tier. Felter up next. How are you, Felter? Can you play at a high level? Well, let's look and see. I'm hoping you can. 98 strength, good pass blocker, good run blocker. I like Felter, man. I'm going to throw him at this B tier. I think he's one of your best left guards in the game. I think the card's a stud. Jabenda up next, right outside a linebacker. How does he compare to like Medrano? Let's see here for us here. Let's see. 91 speed is troll. Acceleration isn't great. Does have good block shed, decent change of direction. I just need the card to be a little faster. I don't think he's horrible. But I think he is in that C tier. Honestly, I like Medrano more. Like, is that crazy to say? Like, I like Medrano a lot more. I might do this. I might move AJ Hawk up. I might move Medrano up. I think that's better, right? I think that fits just slightly better to what I'm looking at getting into. Dante Johnson up next, defensive tackle here. Let's see what he gets into. Again, a lot of these cards, it's tough for me to remember all their stats, and you guys are probably the same way, so it's nice to go over, be able to talk about them. 97 block shed, good power moves, good strength, complete defensive tackle in the game. I mean, I think, is he as good as Walter Nolan? I think he's slightly worse, but he's way, way, way ahead of, where's the other defensive tackle we talked about? Is he down here? I thought we had another defensive tackle somewhere in here, but I think Johnson's fine. Not necessarily perfect. DJ Legway is really good on this game. Legway is one of your best quarterbacks on the game. Is he A tier? Is he S tier? Right now, I'm going to go A tier, but it's like he does everything at a perfect level. You know, there's no flaws in Legway. So I think I've got to throw him at S tier, but the hard part is, again, we've got so many great quarterbacks in this game. 96 speed, great throw accuracy, paranoid trait. I'm going to leave him at S tier for now. We'll have to see. Garrett Wilson fits my spread scheme, but other than that, he's just a really good wide receiver on this game. And I just don't like the fact that I've got Amon-Ra St. Brown and Tank Dell not at the same tier as Garrett Wilson. That just doesn't feel right to me. I don't think Garrett Wilson is... oh, man. I'm actually going to do this. I'm just going to move these cards up because I just don't like the fact that I've got these cards at C tier. I don't, because I don't think it's right for me to do, especially when the cards, in my opinion, are good cards. So, again, Garrett Wilson's good, but I got to move all the wide receivers up. Sean Alexander is really solid at that running back position. Is he better than AP or Derrick Henry? Well, here's the big difference. And again, they're different backs, right? Sean Alexander is going to be that elusive back. 97 speed, 97 acceleration, 97 change of direction. Not going to break tackles quite as good. I do think he's the B tier, though. I think that's where he deserves. Mariota, very good quarterback on this game. I just don't think he's, top 3, top 4 type level. So I am going to throw him at B tier. Although I really do think Mariota is fine. Does have decent speed. I'm going to throw the ball pretty well. Can't hate on Mariota at all, really. I do think B tier is where he belongs. L'Jarius Sneed is great. I mean, you're looking at one of your best corners in the game when you are looking at L'Jarius Sneed. Now, the big thing for me is he better side by side than Jermod McCoy? Different cards. Change of direction's better. Press man, still really good. 6'1". I think I've got, but I don't think he's that much better than Jermod McCoy. The change of direction is slightly better. I'm going to leave him at A tier. Just because, again, I feel like until we get a 98 overall, I don't like it. I've got to put both of them at S tier. I got to. I don't like the fact that I'm trying to, reason with it why they're not S tier. Both those cards are S tier. Ashton Jeanty up next. Different running back. Again, all these running backs are different, but Ashton Jeanty does have the 97 speed. He's probably the best catch, best at catching the football that I've went over this far. Ashton Jeanty's good. He is deserving of that B tier. None of these running backs really blow me away. Josh Allen is fine. I do think he's a B tier quarterback, though. Don't think he does anything at that, elite level, but I do think the card is good. 94 speed, throws the ball well. I do think he is in that B tier caliber. Esteen up next. Weird kind of card at the free safety position. And it's like I like the card, but he's not, Derwin James level. You look at the card, 97 speed, change direction only at 93, 98 zone coverage, 6'1". Card's actually really good, though. Like, Esteen is actually really good. I just think he's slightly worse than Derwin James, so I'm going to throw him at that B tier. Morton up next. A tier. I think, I don't think he's quite as good as Legway, but Morton is a stud. It's tough because, in my opinion, he is like a top 3 right now or so quarterback in the game. Just not quite as fast as Legway, but throwing the football is going to be better. I got to throw him at S tier. I got to. I don't care. I've got to. I don't want to, but I've got to. Rolder. I think Rolder is pretty mediocre, and I'm not saying the card's bad. I'm just saying the middle linebacker position is stacked, and he's only got 92 speed. He does do a lot of things well, but I think C tier is where he belongs. Rondé Barber, one of your best corners in the game. I do think he is your A tier corner, though. I don't think he's quite as good as some of those other corners, but you guys are going to argue, right? Here's your guys' argument. Here's what it's going to be, right? How are you going to put a guy like Jermod McCoy over Rondé Barber? That's what people's argument's going to be. To me, he's better. I think he is better, and I think it's pretty obvious when you compare the cards that McCoy is better than Barber, although Barber is good. C-Mac, Christian McCaffrey up next. I don't like the fact that I've got all these running backs in this in the same tier, but it's like, I don't think McCaffrey's quite as good. I like McCaffrey, but I do think he is C tier. I think there's a difference there with that 96 speed. Braylon Braxton, in my opinion, your best quarterback, best, most complete quarterback in the game, S tier. Again, I don't like the fact that all these quarterbacks are S tier, but I do think, unless I'm really going to move somebody up, which again, the new quarterback we're getting today, I think is going to be elite as well. He's not out at the time I'm recording this, but I guess I could move Legway down because he has the paranoid trait. But again, I think you're really picking and choosing then, so I'm just going to leave him there right now. Hughes up next, another running back. And I don't have any F-tier players yet. And I hope I don't, have to throw anybody at F-tier. Change direction at 90 is just troll. Again, the speed is solid, but that 90 change of direction is just a yikes. I mean, it's just a yikes. I don't think he's as good as Christian McCaffrey. I'm throwing him at D tier. Elijah Roberts up next. I actually think at the left end position, he's solid. Let's take a look exactly what Roberts does give you on the field, comparing to the right ends at the same tier. I think for Roberts, 92 speed, 94 acceleration. Honestly, I think he's better than both Van der Bosch and Selby. I do. Is he deserving of A tier though? I'm gonna keep him at B tier now. But again, the card is really good at that left end position. Ed Reed up next, really solid. Is he better than Moses though? That's the question we have to ask ourselves. I don't think Ed Reed is side by side as good as Esteen. Okay, I don't think that, but maybe he is. That 96 change of direction is incredibly good. Oof, the acceleration is lower. See, this is where I struggle because like Ed Reed does some things better, I don't think he's as good as S tier. I am going to throw him at C tier. I do like Ed Reed overall as a card. Lawrence Taylor is a beast on this game. Maybe my favorite middle linebacker in the game because I think he's better than Seau, right? Like, I genuinely think Lawrence Taylor is the best middle linebacker in the game. From the 95 speed to the solid change direction, solid zone coverage, 6'3". I think he's the best middle linebacker on the game. So I am going to actually throw him at that S tier, although I don't really love it. Like, I don't love throwing him cards at S tier, but I think he is that S tier good. Mahomes, you're going to be our first A tier quarterback. I just don't think you're quite as good as these guys at S tier, mostly speed standpoint, but I mean, again, I don't know. The quarterbacks are all kind of in one. Maybe it's just me not loving Patrick Mahomes as far as, he's won too much, man. I like, when somebody wins too much, you like to see him lose. That's where I'm at. Then you get Lamar Jackson. I hate this, man. Because I just know you guys are going to get mad that I'm not ranking these quarterbacks at S tier. And Lamar Jackson does have that 96 speed, so I feel like I've got to put him at S tier. I just don't like him because I don't like it because I think Braylon Braxton is better. Kuechly up next. He's really good at the middle linebacker position. He's not as good as Lawrence Taylor, though. Is he as good as Junior Seau? I think he's better. I might have to move Junior Seau down, and I'm going to. Because, again, I think Luke Kuechly, and I'll have to make sure I look, but I think Luke Kuechly is side-by-side better than Junior. So, again, that's where I'm at. I think Luke Kuechly is almost as good as Lawrence Taylor, but I do think Lawrence Taylor is slightly better. I like this. Moving Junior Seau just slightly down. Moving up next is actually a really good free safety. And they're all different at the free safety positions, right? So, like, Nubin compared to Ed Reed. What's the difference here? Well, Nubin is going to have he's going to be taller, not as good in man coverage, change direction, slightly worse, but 6'2" with good acceleration. Think he is C tier. Don't think he's as good as S tier, but I think he's close. Right outside linebacker, Khalid Perry up next. I feel like they did something bad with all these newer cards. Like outside linebacker, 92 speed. Zone coverage is a 95, which is fine, but the change of direction is only an 87. Can't get after the quarterback. Block shed only a 90. Yikes. I'm going to go D tier. I really don't like the card whatsoever. Stewart up next. Dylan Stewart. We've seen some really good Dylan Stewart cards this year. Anytime a card's a fraternities card, though, I'm just not expecting a lot. 91 speed, 94 acceleration. Power and finesse moves aren't great. He's just not as good as Elijah Roberts. He's just not, side by side. D'Anthony Thomas, running back up next. Is he C tier? Is he B tier? That's the question. And I'm pretty sure he's C tier because I'm remembering like D'Anthony Thomas when the card came out was a letdown. Only 96 speed. I'm sorry, you're in C tier. You're not bad, but they kind of hold your card. You're a C tier caliber option. Damon Williams Jr., and again, I don't like this because he's going to be A tier, and a lot of people are going to be like, Ty, he's my favorite quarterback in the game. But he does have a flaw. He has great abilities, but he's got that 12 throw accuracy with paranoid. So I'm going to go A tier. I don't like doing it, but I'm going to do it for the card. Warren Sapp is a stud, guys. And again, you can get Warren Sapp for super cheap right now on this game, but the card is so good. And so, like, this is one of my favorite parts about Cut right now is you can get a lot of these cards for super cheap. 89 speed, 91 acceleration, great block shed, gets after the quarterback. Do I think he's as good as Walter Nolan? Maybe not, but I do think Warren Sapp's a stud, B tier. Malik Jefferson up next is good. I mean, he is really good. It just comes down to where does he lie? Because I do like the card. I think the card's a beast. Gets after the quarterback. Plays really solid. 93 speed, 95 acceleration, 96 block shed. Can even drop into coverage. I think I've got to go to A tier. I mean, if AJ Hawk's up there, I think with Jefferson, you've got to go up there as well. That's my opinion. You guys can disagree, but that's where I'm at. Emmitt Smith, look, is he A tier? And this is tough because he does get gold shifty, but they kind of hold the card. They only, I don't know, the 94 acceleration, it's tough. 80 catching, it's tough. I honestly do think he might be your best running back in the game, but I'm throwing him at B tier. I just don't know if I can definitively say he's that much better than a guy like Adrian Peterson, so I'm going to go at that B tier. Dakotas Crawford up next. Good wide receiver. Where does he lie? I think in A tier. But it's just tough because, and this is the hard part I'm having, right? If a card's has that 97 speed, I think I've got to throw him at A tier. And so that's where I'm going to throw Dakotas Crawford. Good catch in the football, obviously. Good route runner. He is in that A tier. Actually, that's an easy one. A tier for the card. Memorable factor, not that great at the middle linebacker position. I just think the card leaves a little bit to be desired. I don't even think he's as good as Junior Seau. I'm going to throw him at that. But that seems low. Like, isn't memorable factor better than C tier? Maybe not, man. Like, maybe the card's really not that. He's not that good. I'm not going to gas him. I do think C tier is where memorable factor does belong. Tavon Austin, I mean, a little bit of a letdown. He's fine. I am going to throw him in here at B tier. He's fine. But he just joins like the rest of these wide receivers that are exactly fine. But with 96 speed, you can't go any higher than B tier. You just can't. Desmond Howard up next. And again, another one of these wide receivers that ultimately was just a little bit of a letdown. And for Desmond Howard, he's only got 95 speed. Like, what are we doing? He is C tier, our first C tier wide receiver. 95 speed is not getting it done. Bo Masco up next. Kind of an interesting card here. I do think, he does deserve that A tier. I don't think he's S tier, but I don't think he's bad. You're looking at a card with 97 speed, 97 zone, 95 man. Gee, wish the change direction was higher, but I think Bo Masco is really solid. A tier is what he deserves, though. Joe Alt up next. I think the card is super cheap. Is he really good, though? That's the question for Joe Alt. Where does he belong when we are comparing him to some of these other tackles in the game? 97 strength, good pass blocking, good run blocking. I mean, is he that much better than Zach Martin, if at all? I don't know. D tier for the card, he's fine. CeeDee Lamb up next. Is he B tier? Is he A tier? That's the question of the day for CeeDee Lamb. And when you're looking at him, 97 speed, instant A tier. There's just no real questions asked. A tier for CeeDee Lamb. A really solid wide receiver that probably did lose some value with that Game Changers drop that did come out yesterday. Next up, we see Joey Porter Jr., A tier, instant A tier. Joey Porter Jr. is a stud on this game. Man coverage-wise is really good. Zone coverage, not going to be as good for Joey Porter Jr., but comes with a 97 speed, 97 man, 97 press, 6 feet tall. It does deserve that A tier. Next up, Harold Perkins Jr. I don't love the card. I think he's fine. I just don't love him. I think C tier is where Harold does ultimately belong. You look at him, 93 speed is okay, but the block shed's low. Not great in coverage, okay. I just wish the block shed was higher. C tier is where I'm putting him. Reddick up next. Again, we've got all these ends in the game. Where does he compare to a guy like T.J. Parker? Well, let's look for Mr. Reddick here. 92 speed, 91 block shed, gets after the quarterback, good acceleration. I think because of that 96 acceleration, I've got to throw him in B tier. Right in there with Van de Bosch, right in there with Selby. Different card, block shed not as high, but I think that's where he belongs. Corey Kiner, newer card that came out, yesterday in the game. Does have that 97 speed, I do believe, for Corey Kiner. But as he came out today, right? Is he a new card that came out today? Oh yeah, he came out today. So we don't know all of his stats. Right now, what do we know? 97 speed, 98 acceleration. Looks pretty solid, I mean, again, isn't a power back, but I think I've got to at least throw him in this B tier as of now. Again, newer card, we don't know all his stats, but I think that's where he belongs. Cameron Johnson up next, right guard. Honestly, I'm just going to tell you guys this. If a card is a right guard, it's going to take a lot for me to gas them up a ton. So for Johnson, I mean, he looks good. We don't know all of his stats. 98 strength, decent pass blocker, decent run blocker. But to me, he just looks like a solid C tier option. Snead looks like a beast. This right outside linebacker is a card I want to talk about quite a bit. Because I think, and again, we don't know all of his stats at the time I'm recording this. So if he comes out and, the card doesn't end up being this good, I'll talk about it in the video. But he's got 95 speed with 95 acceleration, 96 block shed, gets after the quarterback. Even if he can't play coverage, he's A tier. Even if he can't. And I think his upside is that S tier of Clay Matthews. So I'm going to put him at A tier, but he has upside S tier potential. Caldwell up next. Here's what you're looking at with Caldwell. Here's the stats we know. We know he's got 90 speed, 92 acceleration with a 97 block shed. Gets after the quarterback as well. He's got to be one of the most complete defensive tackles in the game. Wherever Walter Nolan is, that's where Campbell's got to go. I like him. B a tier for Caldwell. Sorry, not Campbell, Caldwell. Next up, we see a Trigg. Honestly, at the tight end position, and I said this in my video last night, I think outside of obviously the top level guys, Tony Gonzalez, Brock Bowers, sign me up for all of the stock in this card here in Michael Trigg. He's got that 95 speed, route running, so good. I mean, I'm telling you, this card is elite. This card is absolutely elite. A tier, not quite S tier, but he's close. Isaiah Cash up next, free safety position, 97 overall. This is what I'm saying. The 97 overalls are just as good as the top dogs. We do not know what his change of direction is like at the time I am recording this video. But he's got 97 speed, 96 acceleration, 97 zone coverage with 93 man, 6 foot tall. I think he is deserving of that B tier. I really do. I think the card's elite. Jadeveon Clowney up next has been in the game for a while. He's a solid left end in the game. I just don't think there's anything that Clowney does that's like, great game breaking. And honestly, If his name was not Jadeveon Clowney, I don't know if people hype him up as much. He's still really good, but he is B tier. Like, he's good, but he does deserve that B tier. Andre Johnson is a stud. I mean, physically wise, he is one of the best receivers on this game. Genuinely is Andre Johnson. The problem for me with Andre Johnson is, I mean, I could be wrong on this, but I do not believe he gets gold takeoff. And it's tough because I think on CFB fan, you guys can let me know in the comments, is there a way you can look exactly what abilities these get? Or these guys get? Because at the time I recorded this, I don't think there is. But Andre Johnson, it looks like he's okay. And it just, to me, he's maybe stat-wise your most complete, but there are cards right now at the wide receiver position that get that gold takeoff, and that's some game-breaking good. Membu up next. I mean, he's fine. Like, Membu can play, but there's just nothing crazy about him. He's just a fine right tackle, C tier for the card. He's fine. You could even argue, I'm actually going to throw him a D tier because I think Shanks blows him out of the water, genuinely. So, I'm going to go D tier for the card. Gerald McCoy, I do not love. I really do not love this card. I actually think D tier is where he belongs. Like, and I know he was a lock-in, but it's like 85 speed. Yeah, like his block shed and power moves are good. I guess I'll throw him at C tier. I mean, because defensive tackles don't need that speed. It was definitely not worth it. Demon Clowney up next, the other Clowney here. Let's see what he gets into as far as a card. Good speed acceleration, gets after quarterback. Wish the block shed was higher, but he's good. I mean, in there at that B tier is probably the right tier for the card. And I just don't think you can separate a lot of these cards, so get the ones that fit your schemes here. Kitzelman up next. It's crazy, right? So this card is a card that is coming out today. At the time I'm recording this, that he literally, I don't even think is as good as the other tight end. You know, like he's speed-wise not. Now, if you're looking for a run-blocking tight end, obviously he's better. I'm going to throw both of them at this A tier. But if you're looking for a pass-catching tight end, Trig is better than Kitzelman. I'm just throwing that out there. Marsh up next, strong safety, stories of the week card. Let's see what Marsh looks like. 97 speed acceleration, good hit power, good zone, decent man at a 92. Wish I was higher, only 5'10". Like, again, I wish he was taller. That's the main thing for the card. But he is still a solid enough strong safety in this game. Question is, can I go above B tier with him? No, because he's not as good, simply put, as Derwin James. So he's B tier to me. Green up next. We don't know all of his stats, okay? So that's the first thing I want to say. If he ends up with low throw accuracy and doesn't throw a tight spiral, obviously I'm going to be lower on Green. But right now, I've got to throw him at S tier. Why? Well, if you're looking at Green, he is the most complete quarterback in the game. 97 speed, 98 throw power, good accuracy. I mean, 6'6". We'll see. Tight spirals on his other card do say no, but I'm telling you, if his throw accuracy is good, he's still going to be S tier. But look what quarterbacks fit your scheme. Look what quarterbacks you're looking for. If you want a fast quarterback, you're looking for Green, Jackson. Braxton obviously is faster. If you're looking for a pocket passer, probably Morton. Honestly, though, I kind of want to move. I'm moving Morton down. I'm going to. Passing-wise, he's probably the most complete, but he's just not as fast as some of those other quarterbacks. Caleb Downs, S tier. There's really no debate here. He is your best and most complete safety in the entire game. The problem is his price is crazy. Like, he came out a while ago, and he's only a 97 overall. So you'd think Caleb Downs isn't that good. No, he is the best safety in the game by far and away. It's not even close. Like, he might even be maybe one of your better cards at S tier. He is so good. Larkin, like, nobody really has this card. And if I were to rank him, probably C tier. I don't even think Larkin's that good. Nobody has a card, and I don't even think he's that good. Bijan Robinson up next, 97 overall. I think he's in there at the B tier just because of how complete he is. Like, if you're looking at Robinson, I guess he's only got 96 speed, but he can catch the foot. Look, if you have 96 speed at the running back position, you're going C tier. I don't care. You're going C tier. Drew Aller, I've got to throw him at S tier. I don't really want to throw him at S tier because, again, we've got such elite quarterbacks in the game, but he's still S tier. It's just the way it is. We've just got so many good quarterbacks. Marion Hampton, I'm throwing him at B tier. But again, I just don't think Hampton is that, next level running back. Honestly, I don't think we've got any next level running backs in the game. He's fine. Obviously, is a fine card, but he's just not next level good. Dane Key at this stage of the game. Is he C tier or is he B tier? Let's look it up for Dane Key because I don't want to judge a book by its cover, but he is C tier. He's fine, but that 95 speed keeps him from being higher. Josiah Stewart up next, right end. Obviously, you can get him if you grind that your levels out. For me, for Josiah Stewart, the card's good. it just comes down to we've got other ends in the game that can do what he can do. You know, like he is, I think, you know, deserving of that B tier, but it's just not perfect. Princely up next, and I have absolutely no idea where this card is going to end up ranking. 92 speed. Gets after the quarterback, good block shed. Yeah, I do. He's in there at the B tier as well. Now, all of these ends, again, it's preference based. So try to find one that fits your scheme. Try to find one you're looking for. If you want a guy that's going to stop the run, get one with the higher block shed. You want a guy that's going to get after the quarterback, look at the power moves, the finesse moves, the speed acceleration, those types of things. Ryan Williams up next. They just did Ryan Williams so bogus. Like, I feel like Ryan Williams this year has just gotten done so bogus so many different times. On the first card, he could literally not do anything in the open field. This Ryan Williams, yes, he has 97 speed, but again, in the open field, doesn't do a whole lot. So it's tough for me with Ryan Williams. I know he's got that 97 speed, but honestly, and I don't even know where I drug the card, I'm still going B tier. He doesn't make people miss in the open field. I just don't think the card's that good. Dre Greenlaw, I mean, he's good. The question is, how good is Dre Greenlaw, right? Because, like, whenever I look at Dre Greenlaw, I feel like I'm impressed, but it's just tough, right? Good change direction, good zone coverage, block shed's a little low, but I think B tier is where he belongs. He's fast, gets after the quarterback, good block shed. I think that's where he belongs. Lawrence up next. Where does he belong? 97 overall. And I know I got all these ends at like the same tier, but it's like, how do you separate them, right? DeMarcus Lawrence is just another one of these ends. Better run stopper than most, but he is in here at that B tier. And again, I don't love the fact that they're all B tier, but it's the way it is. John Ross, S tier, right? Gets that gold takeoff. And because of that, he has to be at S tier. I mean, John Ross probably is your best wide receiver in the entire game. Like, if you're looking at wide receivers, right? John Ross is probably number one. And I don't like the fact that he is, you know, that I'm that high on him, but I think he is the best wide receiver in the game. I mean, 97 speed, 98 acceleration, gets that goal takeoff. I think he is probably that best wide receiver right now in the entire game. That is going to wrap it up for our tier list here, ranking the best cards in the game. I'm not even going to throw anybody at F tier because honestly, I don't think anybody deserves that. That's going to wrap it up. Let me know your thoughts. Drop a like on the video, guys. Subscribe if you are new. And as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.